So good morning. It's my great pleasure to have an opportunity to speak here in the GIPC. In my presentation, I would like to share with you the present Japanese pharma market status and how the foreign pharmaceutical companies, especially Indian pharmaceutical company, can penetrate into the Japanese market. So from IP point of view as well as from the regulatory point of view. So Japan has, as you know, has a big pharmaceutical market, which is world #2 market following the United States. And however, the generic market share is quite small, actually only 33%, which is very, very small compared to, for example, to the United States, which shows 75%. And although Japanese government, of course, now take some kind of measures to encourage to the use of the generic drugs to the public, expectedly up to 80% in the year 2020, in order to reduce the medical expense in Japan. That is a very strong priority policy in Japan nowadays. And so now you should consider why it is so difficult for a foreign pharmaceutical company to penetrate into the Japanese market. How to proceed? Oh, sorry. Okay, so I would point out the some kind of barrier for Japanese market. First, I would say the high standard for the pharmaceutical drug quality, and generic drugs are not yet that popular in Japan compared to USA or Europe. And Japanese people distrust on generic drugs and less incentive for patients to lower cost drug. Because all of Japanese people have health insurance, so that they only pay 1/3 of the price of the drug, so that the difference between the generic drug and branding drug not so big, yeah. That's why that is a less incentive for using the generic drug. And also preference for Japan-made product. Japanese people likes very much made in Japan. And also, I would say language barrier, Japanese language, and unique business practice, high operational cost, and complicated IPR laws and regulatory requirements, which I explain later on. With regard to IP or regulatory barriers, you can look at this figure. As an, you see Oh, sorry.
Or you can just, because the questions will be there.
Okay. Sorry. This part, this part. Okay, okay. Okay. As a protection of the patent for the pharmaceutical product, you can see this line. This is IP protection, including the patent term extension, and this line is the regulatory procedures protection. Especially for this part, this is a re-examination period. And as an IP barrier, I have to point out the unique patent term extension system in Japan. You should understand the multiple extension system based on one single manufacturing approval in Japan. Which I explain later on. And also, as a regulatory barrier, I have to say that the re-examination system, which is equivalent to the data exclusivity in Europe, which also I explain a little bit later. And in order to cope with such barriers and some problems, you should consider following steps. The first one, you should have deep understanding to Japan's market and barriers, and also quality standards for pharmaceutical in Japan, and GMP, good manufacturing practice compliance. And also, you should have some good and capable local caretaker. And as a second step, you should have very good IP and regulatory equipment. And the third step is making a partnership with pharmaceutical companies in Japan, and also providing its product to the pharmaceutical companies, and establishing its own branch office in Japan. So, but now, in the meantime, Japanese pharmaceutical market environment has also been a little bit changed in favor of foreign manufacturers. So one of them is a FMA system, a foreign manufacturing accreditation system. So this system facilitates foreign API manufacturers entrance into the Japanese market. So before 2005, if the Japanese generic company make a business in Japan market, they need, of course, a manufacturing business license from the authority, what is called PMDA in Japan. And if they need API from foreign supplier, they must have a license for importer from the authorities. Then they approach the foreign API manufacturers. Therefore, until then, the foreign API manufacturer simply passively wait for JPO, Japanese drug manufacturers' approach. Then after 2005, the situation has been changed. Foreign manufacturer can proactively get license like FMA from the authorities, with which they can proactively approach Japanese generic companies from their own, and they can proactively be involved in the drug business in Japan. So like this. And then, now I would like to mention what the foreign drug manufacturers need for entering Japanese market under such present market circumstances. Okay. So what you need now, you should have insight into the legal and regulatory landscape, focusing on laws and regulations that must be followed to obtain FMA, marketing, manufacturing, distribution licenses for drugs in Japan. And also a business model and strategic scenario. And you should have IP research, patent clearance, such as FTO, freedom to operate. And also, you should need application for Japan Drug Master File registration, including FMA, and so forth. Yeah, so such kind of task or such kind of information or such kind of service should be required for the manufacturer, like Indian pharmaceutical manufacturers. So, and next, I would like to briefly explain the PTE system, patent term extension system. Why do not? Sorry, here. Okay. So the patent term is extended up to 5 years to compensate patent holders for any marketing time lost due to procedures for obtaining marketing approval, according to the provision of the Japanese patent law. And according to the provision, the scope of the extended patent right for medicine is determined by two factors. One is product, one is usage. Yeah? And in this connection, we had just recently Supreme Court decision last year, November last year, very recently, with respect to this issue. And that was the case, Genentech versus Japan.